Welcome back to our Boro Walk. What will we talk about this week? It's been a quiet old week at the Riverside. How are you all doing? We're talking, of course, about Rob Edwards leaving for Wolves and who should replace him. There's been some suggestions that the bloke against Birmingham might want to fancy it. We've got Jonathan, Sean and Sarah back with us. Before we get into it, Sarah, we spoke a couple of weeks ago when you met Rob about how nice he smelt. Is it fair to say he smelt like a rat this week?
Definitely smelling like a rat this week.
Coming up then this week, we're talking about, the Green Borough, another sold out away. You can finish the rest on. So, goodbye to the snake in the grass. Should we give it to Adi Vivash? And we'll look at the Fair Play League this week. How dirty are the Borough? Plus, the A to Z continues. We're up to the letter F this week. Right then, Craig, sum up your feelings when you first heard this.
I've been through a bit of a roundabout, really, a roller coaster. When I first heard about it, I thought, do you know what? I kind of feel a little bit sorry for him because his family are based there, and there's a thing that he has a connection with the club and everything like that. And like, obviously, I've got like youngish kids and family and everything, so I thought, I wouldn't want to work away from him either. But then that was like Tuesday, Wednesday or something. Then by Thursday, I thought, you know what? He only took the job a few months ago. He knows where Middlesbrough is. It's not the other side of the world. And then I thought by Friday, when it came out, obviously, that he wanted to talk to him, I thought, you've absolutely fed us just a load of bollocks. Like the spiel that he's been giving us for months about, you need to be a family. Preston away, when people give Whittaker a bit of jip. And he's like, we're a family. We look after each other. We have to love each other. We do this. It's a long-term project. And the first sniff of Wolves coming in for him, and off he goes, and he's off. But he's this thing of like a connection with the club. He only played like I think he played like about 100 games, and then he coached the reserves or whatever it was. It was like people are going on like he's Steve Bull or Noddy Aldridge. You know, they've got a statue of him. He's going home, the Messiah and all that. It's crap. Like, honestly, it's an absolute joke. Like, and I've seen sorry, I'm going on, but I've seen even Wolves supporters going, I can't believe he's leaving you to come here. We're a mess. Like, sorry, I'll let everyone carry on, but so that's where I am now.
No, you're right. The Wolves fan Liam says, despite his connection to Wolves and the fact we're a bigger club, I don't understand it. We're a circus at the moment and won't be a Premier League club for much longer. I have no idea why he'd force away our Borough for us. It's a very, very strange move indeed. And Gary says, not even us Wolves fans can fathom it. Sarah, does it feel very raw for you? You were sat with the guy less than 2 weeks ago. He was talking about the project and how much we're all family. What's your thoughts? Does it feel like you've been stabbed in the back?
Yes. It does. And I think the club's reaction as well tells us that as well. A little bit like what Craig said there, we've all got sympathies and things, but I just don't buy it. I don't think it's got anything to do with moving close to his family. I was looking at it today. I mean, he moved from Forest Green Rovers in exactly the same circumstances, a little bit different because he'd been there a little bit longer at least. And it was a bigger jump. But he moved, further away from his family to a bigger job. He didn't move closer to home. So I don't think that's been a decision maker for him. He knew where we were. He knew we were 3.5 hours away from home when he took the contract in the summer. I just think that's an excuse. I think it's the money, and I think it's the ego in him. He wanted a Premier League job again. I think there's part of him that thinks he can be the hero and save them, and he'll go in there and he'll do exactly what he did here, and he'll believe it. And I think we all feel a bit stupid, like that we've been taken in. Watford fans warned us, Luton fans warned us. They all warned us what he would do, and they'd heard the same playbook as we got. No doubt Wolves would get the same playbook that we received as well. So pretty pissed, to be honest. And I was at that event, like you say, and he fed us all the project. He fed us all the long-termness of it. It was all, he talked about the fact he was away from his family. He talked about that. And, it was something, he said it was not a problem. Every time he had a day off, he would be popping back home. I'm just stunned, really, to be honest, really stunned. And I think he's let the people who gave him a shot back into the game. Don't forget, he doesn't get this Wolves job if he doesn't get this job. He doesn't get back into the Premier League without this opportunity. And we gave him a chance, and we spent a lot of money. We gave him the players he wanted. We've backed him to the hilt. and this is how he responds. But yeah, not happy.
Jonathan?
Yeah, what more can you say? He's full of shit, isn't he? So he's, what else? But you, Craig and Sarah have kind of said everything, really. Especially the club. They thought he would stick by him, and they're closest. They see him day in, day out. They work with the fella. They interviewed him. They talk to him. We're the fans who just listen to his spiel before and after the game. But the people at the club clearly weren't expecting him to go. And even on Thursday, I think only Friday, the club kind of thought, oh, bloody hell, this is happening. And that tells you everything, So, yeah, they gave him a chance, He was, in the doldrums. He'd taken Luton down. We give him an opportunity and he's just thrown it back. And he's sold the fans a big line of crap, to be honest with you. And so, yeah, no sympathy for him whatsoever. And the Wolves fans are right. They're in disarray, selling their best players, 2 points, so far. Not looking good. Were the owners going to back him there? Don't know.
Let's focus on Boro then, shall we? Far more important than Rob Edwards. Sean, the betting odds for the next Boro manager, of course, will very quickly release. If we just run down the names with you, see if you like any of these. Carlos Corberán is up there as a favourite, along with Gary O'Neill, Tony Mowbray, Stephen Gerrard will have to shut down the pod if that comes to pass. Brendan Rodgers, Robbie Keane has been doing good stuff abroad. Thoughts on Russell Martin, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Dave Challoner from Stockport, Vita Pereira could go the other way, although I'm not sure that's likely to happen. Michael Beale, for God's sake, Paul Trollope, Sam Allardyce is on there, and Liam Messina. Any of those excite you, Sean?
The short answer is no. I'm not really that excited by that list, if I'm honest. I'll tell you who I don't like is Gary O'Neill, and I understand a lot of fans have said we should look beyond the small mistake he made before with the admitting on the podcast that he purposely got himself a yellow card so he could watch the golf with his pals while we were fighting a relegation battle. It's more the context within that. I think he was captain on and off. I don't know if he was a regular captain, but I seem to remember him being having a big stand in our team. And also like the blasé way in which he mentioned what for us was a massive thing. We'd been in the Premier League for a long time and he wanted the weekend off, to watch golf with his pals, but also, not going back to Wolves because we've heard enough about them, but the way that he threw his players under the bus when it started to go wrong. I seem to remember a post-match interview where he got to a point where there was a little bit of self-preservation and he was a bit like, hang on a minute, I'm going to start distancing myself from this absolute shit show and I'm going to sort of say that it's down to my players and not me. So definitely not O'Neill. There's not that many on there. I'm sort of hopeful that we get like a left field one, like Karanka that came from nowhere, not necessarily of that ilk, but somebody that we haven't really thought of.
Yeah. Craig Gibson doesn't go for managers already in posts, though. But should he here? Should he be looking perhaps, somebody like a Paul Heckingbottom or somebody in League One that's doing well?
Well, I'd love Mark Robbins at the club, the way he conducts himself, the job he's done at Coventry, and now the job he's doing. But obviously he hasn't been long in that post, so that's probably an absolute no. But I think like Gibson, the way he does run it, he may have to because the managers that are available at the minute might not be for our selection. But I like Carlos Corberán, I really do. When I was looking at his record and when we played Huddersfield and West Brom in the past, there were good teams. They were solid. They were organised. But going forward, the attacks with purpose and aggression. They played good football, like a high press, and I just liked him. And looking at the stats of when he was in the country, managing those two teams, it was 40 odd percent. I think it was 42, 43% win rate. And I think with that squad that he had with those two, if he could get in, I know he's struggling with Valencia, so maybe there could be a get out there. But if he comes here and the kind of level of player that we have in our squad surpasses what obviously Huddersfield and West Brom have at that time, what he's worked with. So you would think that he could do a good job and he might be able to link that attack and third up, what Edwards couldn't do. But he's a big favourite of mine. I liked him a couple of years ago. I think he was muted for the job, wasn't he? But I was hopeful for him then, but it didn't happen. But yeah, I like him.
Sarah, Jonathan, any names on there excite you? Or have you got your own preferences?
Just a general premise, like a bit like when Edwards come in, they've got the international break. I think they'll take their time. And I think that list is as good as you're going to get even inside the club at the minute. But Sean kind of said something that triggered me. And it was that something come out the blue, someone not unexpected. And, given where the club is at the minute and given how well we're doing and given the strength of the squad and given Steve Gibson's reputation, you might get some applicants that even none of us have thought about. I'd be intrigued to see what names come out. And I guess the next time we do our podcast, we'll know a heck of a lot more. And I don't know if you're going to talk about Vivash at some point, Mark.
We will get onto that.
Okay, well, I'll leave it for a bit later on. But his name certainly sticks in my head too.
Okay. Sarah, any for you?
No, same. I think we're still reeling from the fact that we have no manager. I mean, we just didn't expect it a week ago, so I kind of haven't even processed that yet. Never mind the next one. But nothing on that list really jumps out at me, I've got to say.
Okay. There was one name which fans have already started putting on social media, and that is, of course, Adi Vivash, who led to the victory against Middlesbrough. Martin Reeves says, please give him the job, Boro. And we'll go up together, this bloke as well. Frank says he speaks incredibly well. He is genuine, unlike Nob Deadwood, which is one of the better ones we've seen. I'm not sure he's going to want it. Open question to you all, but Coventry spoke. I mean, one of the reasons that Coventry did well was apparently his coaching, and when he left, that's when it fell apart for Robbins. And who's not to say that the reason you've not been doing well is because of him as well. Thoughts on whether this would be even just give him a go till Christmas, maybe?
Everyone speaks well about him, don't they? You know what? When Edwards come in, there was some discontent, there was some support, a mixed bag. I don't remember anyone saying anything bad about Vivash when he came in as appointed as coach. So he's got a lot of good, warm feeling, and that's only been strengthened after Saturday's performance and the last week's shenanigans. So, if you want a universal favourite, it's probably him at this moment in time. Whether he's a true candidate or not, I don't know. But he's certainly universally liked, that's for sure.
Yeah. It wouldn't be... It wouldn't be strange for Gibson to appoint like a non-manager, would it? I mean, he's obviously going back Robson, McLaren, Woodgate, Carrick. So he's gone for kind of like not established managers. Sorry, I didn't hear that what you said, Sarah.
Steve Agnew.
So he's kind of got a history of appointing not established managers. So it could be a good gamble.
Yeah, and also that established manager bit. I think if you like Wilder and Warnock, they were kind of classic old-fashioned managers who want control of everything, versus a Carrick and an Edwards who have to work in tandem with the whole team around them. So I guess there's that kind of ilk as well. Is that what does he want to do? I don't think we'll go back to an old-fashioned style manager. I think the Carricks and the Edwards, even though they didn't work out, they were probably exactly the fit they wanted, weren't they?
That's the point. I think that what I've heard so far is they will not change the model. The model will remain the same. That it will be Scott in charge of football affairs, and the manager or head coach, as they call it, will be in charge of the team. And I just think that doesn't fit that kind of manager. So if you talk about even the likes of Brendan Rodgers, which was maybe being mentioned. Although I think, he's not for us, but still that type is not going to come in because he'll want more control, he'll want more ownership. I just can't see that. I can't see Vivash taking it because I don't think he likes the limelight. I mean, he was deeply uncomfortable with what's happened across the weekend. He didn't even really like doing the whole fist pump thing, but I think he was kind of forced into it by the players. But, he's... I think if we can get somebody that fits that, because Carrick and Edwards weren't bad decisions by us. I don't think we should ever think that. Carrick was the right choice at the time. Had he have stayed on and had a better coach, the chances are we do better, right? Because we did, when he had a good assistant, we did well. He lost that assistant. He never really recovered that. If he worked with Vivash, for example, which we wanted in the summer, maybe we sit with a different situation right now. But I really think that... I really think it'd be a similar type. People are saying Gerrard is nailed on our type of manager, but I wouldn't want him. But he fits the mold. I know, I'm sorry, Mark, to even mention his name, but he fits the mold of people we tend to go for. So it would be that type, I would imagine, that we bring in next.
I think most of us felt the same, that Vivash, when he came in, was as important a signing as Edwards. I think we all felt, Jonathan mentioned about Coventry, and it's probably no coincidence that when that partnership sort of split up, Coventry did plummet a little bit. And I think the chairman at the time begged for them to somehow work together. So it'll be interesting to see if the club actually actively search for someone now that they've decided they want to keep Vivash, that they are on board and sing from the same hymn sheet. Yeah. And spare a thought for Kieran Scott, who I think pushed massively this time round to get him in, because he wanted him when Carrick was appointed, and now he's pushed really hard to get him in, only to be left 4 months down the road high and dry. So what a mess.
Cheers, Ollie. A little word on the Birmingham game, just a brief one, if that's okay. Matthew Bye says it was a genuinely heroic performance from the players on Saturday. From the players to the coaches, unbelievable. Enjoy relegation at Wolves. You're right. Tan says McGree is the difference in our attack. His creativity makes us look more unpredictable. We need to keep him fit. We are free from P-Rob shackles. There's going to be a few of these, isn't there, to come?
We hold grudges for decades, to be honest.
Noticed.
Never going to forget it.
Noticed. Performance on Saturday. Just a brief word on that. Then, did it shock you, all of you? Did you expect it to be a bit of a, after the Lord's Mayor show, kind of a?
I was stunned. I didn't expect two things. I felt like the fans could be up for it, and even beforehand, I don't know if you felt it, Sean, but when we were in the stand, everybody was excited. I don't know why, but everyone was really buzzing for the game. So that when we went in, and the atmosphere was absolutely as good as I've seen in a long time. But we didn't know how the players would react, and we thought that they were quite close to Edwards. Maybe they weren't as close as we thought, because they reacted really positively, and if anything, wanted to almost stick it to him, maybe. But it was a fantastic game, and to finish the game with one proper centre, we didn't even have a proper centre half, did we? Really, Erling's not really a centre half, so with three full-backs at the back, of a midfield and two full-backs was excellent. Sorry, you guys go.
Well, yeah, but you know what? The whole galvanise is a word that's used a lot for Saturday, and that was it. There was a single point that galvanised everybody, and nobody was talking about Conway's not scored for a couple. Nobody was talking about whether it's 4 at the back, 5 at the back, wing backs. Everyone was galvanised by that fella who left and did us a disservice and wanted to demonstrate that actually this is a great club and we're together and we actually don't need you. And actually it wasn't him who brought us together. It was everybody's component parts had a role to play in that.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed that a lot, So it doesn't matter that Edwards is gone, because guess what? The players have got that belief and they demonstrated it on Saturday. And also, you've got to mention the fellow was right. You're right to bring up that email, that message, Mark. McGree, what a difference he makes.
Yeah.
I like watching him a lot. He just goes to areas and plays balls that other players that don't see. And I don't want to diss Whittaker, but you just watched how many touches McGree had versus Whittaker during that game, and it was a world of difference, you have to say.
But he played better, Whittaker. Slightly better, but he played better. I even saw him make a tackle at one point.
Nearly.
Sure, not related to Whittaker, Sarah. You defend him right. Yes. I did like the adaptation to the song. I don't know if we quite heard it there. God bless Boro fans. So this has got a sense of humour, even in adversity. Right then, before we move on, a big thank you to you. We're looking, of course, to get to 300 subs. You've made it so far with us. We're really enjoying making this content with you. Can you press the sub button if you've not come across this content before? We'd be delighted to have you join this little community which we're making here of just a Boro podcast. We know the world doesn't need another one, but tough, we're here. Reviewing all the good and bad social media takes of this Boro season. So great if you can sub below. Right, we're up to letter F first of all in our A to Z, but that means we're looking at the Fair Play League. This one. Where do you think, Sean, Boro sit in terms of how dirty or fair you've been this season?
I'd say we've crept up to mid-table, maybe top half. I think we've got a little bit more steel about us. We definitely didn't last year. I think we were, well, I can't say the word, but we weren't quite as tough as we would like most weeks. So I'm going to the top half, I think.
Yeah. Okay. You are you are the sixth dirtiest side in the whole division. Dirtier than Millwall, dirtier than Birmingham and others. So 29 yellow cards with, of course, that one red card as well. Does that surprise you, Craig, at all that you're filthy?
Yeah, but I like it. From January to the summer, all we were saying was how easy it was for teams to run through us, and players were letting midfielders run through. They were getting free shots they were going straight through to centre backs. They were like, take a cynical yellow for the team, stop a break. We were too nicey nice. And so you need it. You need it. Like great teams, like you have that bit in you, don't you? That bit of cynicism and that bit of aggro, you do need it. And I think Brown's added to that as well. Obviously, Aylin's always like that. But yeah, so I think we need it. So I'm all for it. As long as the suspensions don't like kind of affect you later on in the season, obviously then it becomes a bit of an issue, doesn't it? But as it stands, yeah, I don't mind a few yellows.
Okay. Please educate a neutral here for me. We put a little tweet out on Twitter, a little bit tongue in cheek, but I'm a Barclays fan. I always will be. Love that era. So we asked this question. We said if Edwards does go, we're begging for Boro to run this back with Mr. Southgate. Oh my goodness, the replies this got from Boro fans. I know he took you down, or know he's responsible for taking you down, but he just be not forgiving him, and do you think he could do a job? All right, we'll move on.
I like him. I'd have him.
He's a man of strong integrity. I'll give him that. So that's certainly a step up from the last fella. So we'll give him that for sure. But yeah.
I think he was dealt a bad deal, wasn't he, when he took over? I mean, we'd had a lot of money spent on the McLaren era, and it was his job to trim it all down. There was no big signings. He didn't have a lot of money, really. I remember reading his autobiography, actually, that we needed a right midfielder, and he wanted Brett Emerton, and it was about 600 grand from Blackburn. And we were like, no, we've got no money. And then we went and signed Afonso Alves for 12.5 million. And it was like, what's going on? But do you know what?
We were losing players like Yakubu and Viduka and getting Ali Adier and Afonso Alves. Like, but I don't know what he was meant to.
Yeah.
I thought he was dealt harsh hands, yeah. I do.
Okay. All right, good. I mean, I've had some harsh comments, such as he should never step foot in the Riverside again and things like that. Which
That's harsh, yeah.
Do you know what, though? He doesn't live too far, so he wouldn't have to leave to be close to his family. He only lives in America.
Okay.
I get the impression Southgate's got no interest in coming back to football management whatsoever.
I agree.
Yes, I think so. Okay. Right, finally this week then, we are up to the letter F in our A to Z then. Who gets in it for you? I'll let you do an open forum.
Well,
wants to kick it off?
Well, I'm going to stick with the historic one. So I'm going back to the 70s, the Jack Charlton era, and I'm going for Foggin, who played over 100 games. And, he's got about 50 goals. So he had a good goals to games ratio. So, yeah, Foggin is a name to stick in there for sure.
Okay. Sarah, sure.
Yeah, I'll go for, I'm going to go with Jan Agerfjordov. Big Middlesbrough hero. Only played 2 seasons, 2 seasons for us. But came in the last months of Ayresome Park, scored critical goals to get us promoted to Division 1 as it was then, I think. No, it was the Premier League, wasn't it? It was the first year of the Premier League. So yeah, and we left Ayresome Park and moved to the Riverside. And of course, he had that incredible connection with Barnby and Hignett. And then when Juninho came on in later, was fantastic. And he's been a big supporter of the club. Even ever since now, he's still a big fan of ours. And yeah, he's goes down in history for us, and we liked his airplane.
Put a great tweet out as well about after the adversity of this week. He put a right tweet out about the Boro and that. So I like him as much for that. So you got to say he's winning the Fs at the minute for yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. 100%. Sorry, I can't not wince when I hear Barnby's name. So it does something to me. Makes me angry. Sean.
I'm going to go Gianluca Festa. He was like a centre-back, like modern day, marauding forward in the days when defenders didn't really do that, especially from centre-back. And he wasn't even in a 3, he was in a 2. You'd glance up and you'd see him like marching through the middle of the pitch and you think, where's he going? But he was so passionate. Yeah, great to watch. And in that era when we had so many different nationalities, and yeah, he wore his heart on his sleeve and he was decent.
Cool. Craig, you seem to have a collection of Fs behind you.
Yeah, Fabio, the old Man U, George Friend, couple of George Friends, Dale. Oh, following, no one will really know him. But, but yeah, I mean, Dale Fry, I mean, like, he's
Let's hope he's not watching.
I think he plays Harrogate now, you know. But like George Friend's an absolute legend, and he still lives local as well, and he does a lot in the area. But I'm going to go the same period as Sarah. Like when we signed Fjordhoff, we signed Uwe Fuchs on loan. I think I might be being a bit nostalgic because obviously Edwards has only been here 3-4 months, so and Uwe Fuchs is only here 3-4 months. So, but he scored like about 9 or 10 goals in about 11 starts or something, and we had to go. Like Sarah said, we had to go up that season. Robbo's first year, we were moving into Riverside. We needed to get into the Prem, and Fuchs, Fjordhoff, their goals got us up there. And he was also seeing Jet from the Gladiators, wasn't he? So he went there as a teenage boy in the 90s. He was an absolute legend.
My God. I never thought we'd hear the words Jet and Gladiators in this podcast. Well,
You should have heard the song they used to sing at half time.
Brilliant. Right. That just leaves us to say which one of those have we put in then for F?
Fjordhoff in my book.
Yeah.
Fjordhoff, yeah.
All right. Brilliant. Super. Good choice. Right. Let us know all the players they've missed for F as well, of course, and all the events as well. FA Cup perhaps as well, and all those memories from that. Right. We will see you next week for G. Have a good week off talking about Boro, and we may be back, of course, shortly with maybe a new manager announcement on the horizon. Join us for that. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good one.